I hope this finds you well. This is Christopher Alvin Mokaya, and we are facing a pandemic of unimaginable proportions. But in the midst of this pandemic, there is a lot of hope. And you know what? I have a dream. I am happy to join you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. About 6 decades ago, on the 12th of December 1963, Kenya's founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. The momentous decree came as a beacon of hope to millions of citizens who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of the colonial oppression. But 58 years later, the Republic of Kenya is still not free. 58 years later, the life of the ordinary Kenyan citizen is still sadly crippled by the chains of poverty and the misfortune of joblessness. The COVID-19 billionaires are swimming in extravagance while the ordinary Kenyans are wallowing in joblessness. 58 years later, ladies and gentlemen, the ordinary Kenyan lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity in the hands of the minority. 58 years later, the ordinary Kenyan is still languishing at the corners of Kenyan society and finds himself in an exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our nation and great republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every Kenyan was to fall heir. This note was a promise, a great promise that all men, yes, young men as well as older men, would be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's obvious today that the government of Kenya has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her ordinary citizens are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, Kenya has given its ordinary people a bad check, a check that has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of this opportunity of our nation. So we have come to cash in this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind Kenya of the fierce urgency of now. This is not a time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promise of economic freedom. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of poverty to the sunlit path of job opportunities. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksand of bad governance to the solid rock of people's democracy. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children in Kenya. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment and to underestimate the determination of ordinary citizens. This sweltering heat of ordinary citizens' legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating space of freedom and equal opportunity. 2021 is not the end, but it is the beginning. This year is not the end, but it is the beginning. Those who hope for ordinary Kenyans that they needed to blow off steam and will now be counted will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. Ordinary citizens will organize mobilize and strategize to defeat poverty, corruption, and oppression. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in Kenya until the ordinary citizen is granted his economic rights and the government appetite for international loans is tamed. The wild ones of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. We can never be satisfied as long as our fellow citizens, oppressed by bad policies of the current government, cannot gain job opportunities in the rural areas nor in the cities. We cannot be satisfied as long as the ordinary Kenyan's basic mobility is from a smaller jobless corner to a bigger jobless corner. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by bad policies that make their future a nightmare to imagine. We cannot be satisfied as long as the ordinary Kenyan in Nairobi cannot put food on the table, and the ordinary Kenyan in Turkana believes he has nothing to smile about in Kenya. No, we are not satisfied and will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you are deeply disturbed and concerned due to your trials and tribulations. Some of you have been rendered jobless and even homeless in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of you have been battered by storms of persecutions and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to your homes, go back to Mombasa, go back to Nyeri, go back to Kisii, go back to Moyale, go back to the slums and the ghettos of our cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. And that is why I, Christopher Alvin Mokaya, seek to become the next president of the Republic of Kenya. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you, my friends, we have the difficulties of today and tomorrow. I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the Kenyan dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day in the streets of Nairobi, the ordinary citizens will be able to stand up together and to celebrate a new nation of opportunity. I have a dream that one day even the county of Turkana, a county that is shackled with the chains of poverty, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and opportunity. I have a dream that our children will one day live in a nation where they will not be condemned to poverty, but will be blessed with opportunity. I have a dream today. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be engulfed, every hill shall be exalted, and every mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plains, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all of flesh will see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to my home with. With this faith, we'll be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to climb every freedom corner together, and to know that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with a new meaning. O God of all creation, bless this is our land and nation. Justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty. Plenty be found within our borders. So let freedom ring. And if Kenya is to become a great nation, this must come true. So let freedom ring right from the depths of the Indian Ocean. Let freedom ring from the mountains and hills of Kenya. Let freedom ring from the hills and plains of the Rift Valley. Let freedom ring from the sandy beaches of Mombasa. Let freedom ring from the breathtaking slopes of Mount Kenya. But not only that, let freedom ring from the tea estates of Kericho. Let freedom ring from every hall, from every hill, from every molehill of the nation of Kenya and every mountainside. When we let freedom ring, we will let it ring from every tenement and every hamlet, from every county and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, young men and older men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God the Almighty. We are free at last. I seek your support. Be the next CEO, the next President of the Republic of Kenya. Yours faithfully, Christopher Alvin Mokaya.